Hey guys, Amazing Ampharos here, and I'm picking back up with my Final Fantasy IV The After Years playthrough, jumping into the Lunarians Tale. Lunarians Tale is one of my favorites, and it has a very different tone than the rest of the tales, because, to be very honest about it, the party you have in this tale is way more powerful than the party you have in any of the other tales. I talked before about how strong Holy Dragoon Kane was. Now, there was just one character in the game who was strong. Well, we're about to meet him, and he's not just a little stronger either. You probably have already picked up from the name that Lunarians Tale, Lunar, the moon, something's going to be taking place on that moon we've been staring at. And they're setting up for that here by showing all these characters looking at the moon. Though I'm a little confused about this scene, because if you actually go to this telescope, you're told it's broken. But apparently now, it's working. Here we are in Final Fantasy IV's final dungeon, and I guess we're in a fight against Golbez. Or no, wait, we're in a fight as Golbez. It doesn't seem to be going very well for our hero, or villain, or whatever you want to call him. But it looks like luckily that was just a dream. We probably could have figured that, because only in a dream could Cecil beat Golbez in a one-on-one. And you're going to quickly pick up on the fact that Golbez here is an absurdly good character. He comes with all the Agas and with Bio. His spell list might look thin, but it mostly is just him not having all those useless status spells, so it's really not a problem. He is a good physical character too, but for the purposes of this tale, his magic is going to be the dominating focus, which is why I took that weapon off of the flashback version of Golbez. Kind of a funny programming quirk in this, where the flashback Golbez is actually a different character. You'll even notice he has very slightly less HP. And like all temporary characters, we can loot him for equipment. While Ebony Blade is a terrible weapon attacking-wise, it's actually a very nice weapon for magic because it gives +7 intellect, which is comparable with higher-end rods. So we've given Golbez a nice boost to his black magic abilities. Not that he really needed it, because as you're really going to see really fast, Golbez is just crazy powerful. And with almost 3,000 HP, he might as well be immortal too. Of course, here we just have to work backward through the final dungeon of 4. It's much more friendly right now than it used to be, though the treasure is also of much lower quality, so I guess it balances out. And you're forced to stick basically to a straight path. A lot of these doors, Golbez will just tell you that he's not willing to go into it. While the Agas are your most powerful spells, if you use your group, you can just use Bio. Bio is a unique spell in that it fits between the Auras and Agas and strength, but it has absolutely no cast time. That ends up making Bio overall an extremely good spell with utility straight through the end of the game. long-term Final Fantasy fans might find that a little strange, because Bio is usually a very bad spell. But no, the full glory of 4 Bio is back for the afterwards. And this guy always survives by a small margin. Even though we're in the back row with a lousy physical weapon range, this will still finish him off. And here's a good old healing pop for us. I'm not really sure why, but there's a whole lot of those in this place. So whatever small threat we had of running out of resources is completely nullified. And those mithril gloves are, in my opinion, the biggest trap of this tale. If you actually do equip them, what you're doing is lowering your intellect, which reduces your magic damage, and furthermore removing your immunity to silence, which is going to cause significant problems for you later on. You might as well forget to pick those mithril gloves up, because they're going to cause you nothing but harm. And just like with the last enemy, this guy just barely survives this, but we can take care of it pretty easy. And if everything else didn't give you a hint, things are going very badly on this mission. I think it's going to take someone very powerful to set this right. Good thing we have one of those guys handy. Fight so many force encounters with Golbez is kind of silly because, while they're certainly not difficult, it ends up getting us a whole lot of experience that we get no way needed. Golbez didn't start with the helm, so that chest is a very important one to pick up. I actually believe that's the only helm in the entire thing. So if you miss it, you're going to be taking a lot more damage. And Millennia Matriarch is really powerful, so we're going to play it a little safe in getting her out of the picture. If you attack her and fail to kill, she'll confuse Golbez, which, while there's no real risk of losing, it does waste a bunch of time. Whoops! I just talked about wasting time. And now we're level 31. After running around with all these characters and routines, level 31 is really something special. This game really wants you to feel like you have found a really powerful character finally. But in terms of the story, you see things are going real bad. All the crystals are now blood red. And they all have these really ominous things to say that provide hints for what's going to happen in the endgame of this game, but for now they just come off as ominous. And here comes Fusuya, who hopefully has an explanation for this. Fusuya tells us that something is happening here, and further elaborates that it's beyond his understanding. Well, thanks, Fusuya. You're a helper. Fortunately, Fusuya is going to come with us to get to the bottom of this. And while he's not Golbez levels good, he's still a really powerful character for now. He comes at level 32, and level 30 as well, I should say. He has access to every piece of black and white magic in the game. Which we're going to be making extensive use of. They've rearranged the lunar surface as well, so these lunar tunnels are actually completely optional. But I'm going to track through them anyway, just to get a couple of items, and to show them off. Though if you're doing this at home, watch out when you go into this lunar tunnel here, because under New Moon, which is the starting lunar phase, there's a chance of encountering ebony dragons. Because they're very powerful and can usually wipe your party in one hit. I'm fairly confident this group can not only survive an ebony dragon fight, they actually would have a real chance of winning if I chose to fight. The whole deal with the dragon enemies is that they have a chance to drop tail items corresponding to their color. Like the ebony dragon here drops the ebony tail. Halfway through the final dungeon, you get a chance to redeem any tail items you have for various special armors and rings. Like the ebony tail was traded for a taunt ring, which redirects all physical attacks toward whoever has it equipped. All single target attacks, as we say, it's more general than just physical. That's pretty powerful, but it takes a lot of farming to get these tails from the dragons, so I'm just not going to do it. But if you choose to do it, you will be paid off. And this ebony one is certainly worth going for because it's honestly one of the better tail items, and it's by far the easiest one of the dragons to take down, just because of the parts you get for it. Now here we are at the impact crater. Now, this place is going to look really familiar. This is exactly the same dungeon we went through as Yang or as Gecko. I'm not really sure how a meteor hits the moon and creates a crater with the exact same shape as a crater on Earth. But, through the power of reused assets, I suppose anything is possible. Fusuya again tells us that he knows something has happened, but doesn't know anything about it. You'll notice these characters do have a couple of other abilities that are pretty nice. Golbez has the taunt ability. Much like the taunt ring I was discussing earlier, using it redirects all single target attacks to Golbez. You have to use it every turn if you want to keep the effect active, but it is completely reliable. The only way your other characters can possibly be hit are if the enemy uses multi-target attacks. But you won't really see me using this in the Lunarians Tale. Down the road, it's going to be a very important ability for Golbez. Golbez's other ability is called Pressure, and I'm not really sure of the utility of it. It inflicts the enemy with either stomp or paralysis, I'm not really sure which one, in an incredibly unreliable way. I don't really use it at all, and I've never missed it, and can't imagine I ever will miss it. Fusuya has the command ability Flex, which is not the greatest ability, but we might run into an occasion to use it instead. Ties up Fusuya for 3 turns, during which both Golbez and Fusuya recover HP and MP at a pretty slow rate. I think it's something like 5 or 10% of your HP per tick and 1% of your MP. Rounded down, so Crusade Hours is 190 MD, only get 1 MD per tick less. So Golbez will get 2. You've probably quickly picked out it's a terrible healing thing, but it does nothing to do with your turns. It is free, so we might see it used. And here we are at the save point, and we have a boss fight coming up, so I'm just going to double 10 to both heal up and roll us over to the correct lunar phase, and I'm going to break my segment here. I'll be back with you guys next time to erase any remaining doubts you have about just how strong this party is.